Jason, remember this?
I do remember this.
That's you and me on the chin ramp, double inverts, like search for Animal Chin. And that's me wearing the actual shirt from that original photo on Animal Chin.
It's so crazy.
And now we're selling these.
Yeah, and I'm here. I'm just a part of it.
So we signed 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
Well, I've signed most of them, and you have to sign them.
I'm gonna do it right now.
So that by the time you were watching this, they will be available, ready to ship. Boom.
Yeah, I'd hurry up and get one, man. This is the greatest thing that I'll ever be a part of, ever. So.
I'm pretty hyped on this.
Yeah.
So they're at TonyHawk.com, I think. Yep. TonyHawk.com.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's a place. That's a good place.
All right. Keep searching. Kids were coming home for the weekend. Miles, Katie, and also just rappers. I was like, what?
How old are we where you don't put the wrappers in the trash? And I know Miles, because he comes around my house, and I'm like,
It's more Katie.
who put the trash in the recycling in the trash?
Yeah.
And then I tell him, and then he does it again to the point where I go, oh, Miles was here. Dude, on the other side, on my show, he is the best thing that has ever happened to the show in the history of the show. Like back in the serious days, if he was on, he would be huge. Like he's just doing.
Tully.
He's just dropping words where now he gets it. Like he says it, and I go, "I'm sorry, what?" And he goes, because he doesn't. He doesn't know how to say it, and he says shit where it's just like because he's got Vietnamese, and I'm like,
I heard that one.
What?
Yeah, I wish that you were around for Miles' formative years because he used to get just regular sayings completely off.
Yeah,
like
dude.
the what is it the movie about something in the Huntsman? Snow White and the Husband. Snow White. Are you guys gonna go watch Snow White and her husband? Just that, like, and off the top of his head, and just. And we say Huntsman, he's like, whatever.
Yeah, no,
like, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Dude, he had Tully and I lost the show. Like I was just,
I went off the rails.
I was like, I don't care anymore, dude. I just want to keep talking. And if he says something wrong, I go, try it in an Australian accent because that's my thing with him.
Yeah.
And then he just yells like he doesn't have an Australian accent. He just does like a high.
No, I heard that. He's
Miles.
like, you're like, do Russell Crowe. He's like, I'm Russell Crowe.
Well, that was way better than what he did.
What? Welcome. Here we go.
And I'm not Tony Hawk.
I'll tell you one of the most fun things ever.
What?
That I hope you do get to experience in your life is being a grandpa.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, because you have the wealth of experience from being a parent.
Yeah.
And so you're not freaking out about everything, or everything kind of comes naturally.
Yeah.
And also, but you get just to be the fun.
Let me ask you this.
Adult.
What's the coolest part when it comes to these two things? Watching your grandson or granddaughter walk around, move around like that's a life after a life you made, or watching your grandkids, watching your actual kid be a parent.
That.
It's that, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just like, he's a dad.
Yeah, it's so fun. Yeah. And just the most attentive. And, I mean, he had, like, when he brings him over, it takes him so long to leave.
What do you mean?
Like, we will babysit, and then it takes Riley so long to leave because he keeps, like, checking on him and snuggling him.
Aww.
Like, we got him.
Is there more of a connection with you two because he's got a kid and he kind of understands, like, wow, thanks for being a dad?
I don't know. I'm not looking for that validation.
I don't think you are, dude.
I don't think so. It's just different. It's a totally different situation.
Because I feel like maybe it's too soon. Because my kids got a little older, where all of a sudden I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, well, for me,
it was more. The realization happened when he was 24, and when he turned 24, I was like, Riley, when I turned 24, I had you, and he's like, Oh, like I could see that actually. That sunk in.
Yeah, that one works for me because when my parents were, my mum was 15 when she got pregnant. Mm-hmm. So like because my mum does a lot of apologies every time I see her, and I'm like, Mum, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But more so than ever now, where I go, Mum, if I had a kid when I was 16, kid might be alive. I would not, like, when I was 16, I was like, like, yeah. I think I knew how to catch a train, but even then I was like, do I get off now? Like, I don't know anything. Yeah. And it was, I can't believe you did that. You know, with my dad who was 20. I remember my dad when he was 50, he was a giant baby at 50. And I'm like, what were you like when you were 20? I know he would have tried to fight me for sure. He tried to fight everybody. Your kids are, you're the best dad I know, dude.
Oh, well, thank you.
You are.
It's very comforting to know that he's in a good place. He's obviously at an age of responsibility. He, his finances are in order. Like, when he was born, things were very uncertain.
Right.
And, we didn't have resources.
Like,
we didn't have resources to pay babysitters, stuff like that. Like,
right.
It just didn't,
Right. I remember Chris Miller when he had Zach, and I was living at the house, and they went to dinner for the first time.
Yeah, he told me
and
that.
They were like, can you take care of Zach? Yeah. And I was like, are you sure you want to do that? And then they left, and I remember, I will never forget it. I had a crying baby because Zach was watching his parents leave him for the first time in his life, and they left him with this dickhead. And I was just like, are you guys sure you want to do that? And it was like, they went to dinner for like 2 hours, dude. And it felt like...
That can be scary.
It felt like 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm not walking off. What do you need? Like 100% the whole time.
Why is it crying?
I was like, look, you've got a dog. Remember the dog? Like, it's like, the dog made me sad. I'm like, oh God, what about this bottle? What about this bottle? And it's like, oh yeah, bottle's pretty good, but it's kind of making me sad.
For a little bit.
Oh my God, dog bottle. Look at me.
Wait. In those 2 hours, did you change a diaper?
Nah.
Okay, let me just tell you, that's probably why I was sad.
Yeah. Well, oh, come on, man. Start a kid. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, we're talking about Zach, like Zach, who we see here all the time.
I wanted to say yes, just so I could be like, I saw your dick, Zach, but I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't want to do that.
Wow.
It'd be a fun thing to say to him, you know? You never had people tell you I used to change your diaper, and I'm like...
Yeah, that's so lame.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's such
like if I did or I didn't, I'm not saying
an uncomfortable flex.
Yeah, right? Oh, Jace, how are you? Like, I used to change your diaper.
I remember it.
So when you skateboard, still skating? I'm like, yeah. How do you keep the body fit? I'm like, you ask me that every year, Uncle. Shut up. Because I'm holding it. Open your fucking eyes.
I remember that crew, Zach Miller, Lucas Miller, and Riley, and there were a couple other in their orbit.
Yeah.
When they were like 8 to 12, they were so funny, like really in a creative, different way than I've ever seen.
Yeah,
kids are
because they got strange parents.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I mean that in a good way.
I mean, if you look at the way Lucas skates now, he has a totally different approach to skating.
He always did. He always skated in a way.
And he was when they would skate NCS YMCA, so we could drop him off there, and it was contained. And whenever Lucas would show up, he was the Pied Piper. All the other kids were like, Lucas is here. And you would see him skate through the course, and all the kids would follow him. And he's wearing board shorts, high socks, and a leather jacket. Skating through the...
You got to respect...
Yeah.
When you're real young and you're like, I'm doing it this way.
Yeah. It was sick.
It's so much cooler because when you're a kid, it's so much scarier to do your own thing.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to follow everybody, you know?
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, but that's been super fun for Kathy and I because we just get to relive having little ones, and
but it's more pleasurable because the stress is off, or just because you're wiser, you think?
It's everything. It's just it's because it's a generation. I don't know. It's just something that comes naturally, and you'll know it when you feel it. I can't explain it. Like you just you see why grandmas light up.
Right. Well, my
You
daughter
start to understand.
My daughter's the oldest out of my kids. She's 19. She came over to the house yesterday because she wanted to park out the front of my house to go to someone's party. She asked me if she could. Every time my daughter wants something from me, she goes, "So, the thing is," and I go,
Miles used to go, 2 things. One was a fact.
Did you know that houses have roofs?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, can I borrow the car? Yeah, no, I know. That's so I just go, I'm in Florida when she says it, FaceTime. She goes, "So, Dad," and I go, "Just, what do you want? Just say it, and you're probably going to get it. So just, yeah." And she goes, "Well, I wanted to see if I could it's a Halloween party. I'm going as a mermaid. I want to see if I could take photos by your pool with my friend before I go." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can." And then my friend goes, "Is that your daughter? Like, I thought she was going to ask for something way bigger." And I'm like, "You never know. It could be, it could be huge. It could be that, and it's no big deal." But it reminded me that when she was real little, made me feel like a good dad. I knew a girl from the radio show because I found her on the internet and we interviewed her, where her job was to be a mermaid, and she had she could hold her breath for crazy amounts of time, and she had the proper tail, and she looked like she's a cute blonde-headed girl with wavy hair, and she did like the high-pitched squeaky voice thing, and she was a mermaid, like, for a living. And we had her on, and she had photos where she's like deep down in the sea and shit. And I'm like, "Dude, you look like a mermaid. Like, the tail looks sick." I asked her if she could come to my house and go in the pool with my daughter. I think my daughter was like 5 or something.
Wow.
And I told my daughter that I'm friends with a mermaid. And she was like, "Dad, there's no mermaid." And I'm like, "I'm friends with a mermaid." And then I showed her photos of her in the sea. And she's like, "That's a mermaid." I'm like, "I told you, I'm personal friends." She's like,
so did she see her with her legs?
No, only as a mermaid.
Like when she came over to the house?
Well, how's this? So I get her, she gets dressed in the car, then me and all my friends pick her up out of her car and take her through the back. So my daughter's in the pool with her friends.
My God.
8 of us.
That is next level.
Carry her in as a mermaid. She's like, "Oh, hi, Devin." You know what I mean? And Devin's like, "Shut the just like, Dad does know a mermaid." We put her in the pool, and then she swims to the bottom and does like all these laps where she's down there for a long time, where you and I, we can't do. Like a minute.
The kids are convinced she can breathe underwater.
Yeah, dude, she's doing like 2-3 minutes, and she comes up, float, and Devin's dressed as a janky mermaid. You know what I mean? Like, I go, "I'm a mermaid," like a no tail or whatever, and then they just chit chat in the pool for like an hour or 2 about what's in the sea.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and then we pick her up and take her out, and she's like, "Bye, Devin." And Devin's like, "Bye, my mermaid friend." I looked cool for like 6 months after that.
That's a flex.
But now, like
does she remember that? I mean, does
she
remind you of that when she said, "I want to go take pictures"?
No,
as a mermaid?
No, that was me telling my friend that I was a good dad, probably for insecure reasons or whatever. But when she came over last night, I was like, she said, somebody said something to her when she was walking back from the party, about a guy, and it made me feel like I'm not going to be a granddad anytime soon, because she was just like, "This dude's
it's no rush."
Douche.
Riley's 31.
She's got it. Yeah, I think kids. I mean, she's not. She grew up okay. Yeah. Like, she's like, common sense she's full of it. So I didn't have that.
I like how you present it like it's such a wonder to you.
Yeah, because
she has it.
Well, she's half me.
Where did she get it?
I swear, Forrest Gump, when he finds out that he's got a son and he starts to get choked up because he's like, "Is he, you know what I mean, like me?" And she goes, "No, he's like real good at school," and he's like super happy. That's how I feel every time my kids, like, if they get an A in school, I'm like,
well, whether you know it or not, you were part of that. You were
not
part
that part.
of yeah. Just in terms of being there, yes.
My son put his friend in hospital from boxing the other day.
Yeah, you're part of that too.
That was me. I was so stoked.
You gotta take the good with the bad.
That was awesome.
Wow.
I'm saying it in a weird. He sparred his friend, and his friend was yapping all day. He's like, "I'm gonna smoke you," and then they fight. And Tiger's training a lot. Like, I put him through a lot. He's good. And he dropped his friend. Just, you know what I mean, sparring, not bad. Shot to the body, shot to the head, dropped him. The dude quit. Asked my coach, who's my son's coach now, he's like, hey, man, can I get lessons off you? And I'm like, that's cheap. Like, you stick with your trainer. Like, it ain't about your trainer. It's about your heart, and you can't f with Ellis's. That's just how that goes. Then he calls my son the next day and goes, I went to hospital at 5 a.m. And Tiger's like, you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. I got a bruised kidney. So then Tiger calls me the next day and goes, Dad, because we had a little talk about it the day before where I was laughing. It's pretty funny because I started laughing because I was like, you dropped him? And he's like, yeah, I dropped him. And I was like, yes. And I was like, don't be cocky in the ring. And he's like, no, I wasn't cocky. And I was like, don't tell your mum that I just laughed. And he's like, I told her and she laughed. And I was like, well, then you can tell her I laughed.
Oh my God.
But then I guess he goes, yes, he went to hospital at 5 a.m. and I start laughing. And he goes, what are you laughing at? And I was like, what was his injury? And he goes, he's got a bruised kidney. And I laugh even louder. And he's like, I'm like, you know your dad's peed blood 5 times? You know I've had lacerated kidneys, lacerated lungs, lacerated, like, I was like, do you know what they do when you go to hospital? He's like, what? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah. Send you home.
But yeah, because it's bullshit.
It's probably better for him to get checked out at that age, Jason.
You're bitch made. That's how that is. I told him, I was like, I punch you in the stomach harder than you punch that guy, and I saw you go, okay, that was pretty bad. And then you came back and fought me.
Wow.
Like, because that's what we are. We're different. Know that.
Okay.
Keep it to yourself, but we're different.
Okay. I've seen it in action.
We are. Like, it's not like, am I going to, be a school teacher? Nah. But, like, if you rough me up or I fall off something, I get up. That's what Ellis's do.
True. I get that.
Well, I mean, I think
that's an inherent trait of a skateboarder too.
Yeah, yes. But I also feel like you have natural attributes. Like he has natural attribute to take a shot and be like, yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, yeah.
And
no,
also,
I mean, I've seen my kids. They get rocked and they're just like, whatever.
Also, just like you, if he is hurt, I don't go, walk it off. Like I'm not a like a psycho. Like if he is hurt, I'm like, you're hurt. Or
right.
if he's got a cut, I'm like, that's like 7 stitches, dude, and we're going. Yeah. Like, it's not like, put a Band-Aid on it. Like, I'm not a maniac.
Okay, all right. So you're responsible.
Yeah.
Kind of. Got it.
It's got to be a little tough, dude.
And now a word from our sponsors. Big holidays mean big family get-togethers. Don't I know it? So gather your loved ones and enjoy all the holiday traditions you cherish with the help of cash back from Ibotta. This month, Ibotta gives new users 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast. Just add the offers in the app to redeem for everything you need to make your Thanksgiving feast complete. All you have to do is shop at your favorite retailers and upload your receipt. Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods, so you can get everything you need for the holidays.
Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, you get real cash back that you can cash out to your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards.
Download the Ibotta app now and use code HAWK to get 100% cash back on your Thanksgiving feast starting November 1st. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app and use code HAWK. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code HAWK. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed.
Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. I don't know how to really do stuff like this, but with Prize Picks, I somehow figured out how to do it, because it's pretty simple. I watch the news and TikTok and stuff like that, and I'm aware of LeBron James. I know he's pretty good, but I also know you guys love him more than I think Jordan's better. What do you think about that? It's like more or less. I go less, because that's a hype train, son. And so far, I've been doing pretty good. His son sucks too.
Someone just told me that. I don't know what I'm saying.
Download the app today and use code HawkWolf to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's HawkWolf to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Back to the show. Dude, I'm so trashed.
Why?
Like, I won't. So, you know how my knee is playing with me, has been for like, I don't know, like 3 months or whatever, where I'm like, I think I either tore the dead man's MCL or maybe it's like Tom Brokaw. And I hit it the other day when I was trying to do those leaner tails, and I was like, and there's video, you go, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, because I don't really know anymore. I feel like Rocky Balboa's face, but my whole body, like I hit things and I'm like, I don't know if that was good. It's like, can you tell that? I'm like, no, I can't tell anymore.
Do you mean if it was good, if it was a good execution, or if it was for your knee?
You know, how bad is the injury?
Oh, yeah.
Like when you go, you okay? And I'm like, well, I did shoulder block the flat, but I don't feel bad now. But maybe in 2 days, it's going to notify me that, that was actually pretty bad. And the correct answer was, nah, it was bad.
It looked pretty bad.
But I skated in Florida. I went to this skate park down the road from the hotel, and I'm like, street course. I'm like, I don't care. And then I go to the walk further through. People know, dude, when this ends, my ego is going to be, I'm a legit skateboarder again, dude. I go to skate parks and people go, no way. And I'm like, me? How do you know me? They're like, dude, Ellis is here. And I'm like, easy. Because he's really kind of not. You know what I mean? But okay.
Are they calling out tricks?
No, because they know I'm old because I'm on.
I want them to be like, let's see a West Coast Cowboy.
Yeah.
Everyone sits down, waits for it.
No, I think people are aware that I suck because they're just like, they're just happy to see me.
Let's see a board slide on that ledge, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I'll do that.
I know.
I will go. But anyway, I look at this bowl and I'm like, oh, cool, bowl. And then I'm like, oh, what's that over there? And then I walk a little further and I'm like, oh, there's like it's like your ramp, but a concrete bowl.
What
it
city?
Is gigantic. St. Petersburg.
Wow.
They got a bowl, like a man's bowl.
Did you have pads?
Yeah, I brought my pads.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea. I brought my pads because I was going to skate the Tampa ramp, and then I do comedy, and some guy tells me that they shut down the vert ramp, like the council or some shit, and I'm like, man, I brought my pads. That's why I went to the concrete skate park, because I saw a video of there's a bowl. But I get to the big bowl.
I feel like this is a prelude to a hospital visit.
I mean, it would be if
you in a lone concrete bowl.
I should, dude.
Last time that happened, we went to Pink Motel and you took a trip to the flat bottom on your back.
But I didn't go to the hospital.
You should have.
I didn't go to the hospital.
No, you went straight to Bert Kreischer's podcast and took a painkiller.
Right. Well, that old me would still.
Old
me would have done that in Florida, but new me was like, suck a butt, Jason. But I went there with my girlfriend, who she knows skating, so it's pretty. Like, I didn't know her back then, but she like I've been in trouble a couple of times where I'm like, I knee slide to like the flat, and it's pretty cool. She's like, as in, I don't know what a knee slide is, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, really? And like, and then I go, oh yeah, you know what front side is and back side is. And she's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I forget. You know what I mean? I'm not used to hanging out with people that I sleep with that know front side is. It's new to me. It is.
Okay.
So I go to this bowl with my comedy friend, Joel, who's on the road with me, who skates a little bit, like he skates. And then my chick. And then we walk over to this thing, then I walk over to the big thing, and they both go, you're not going to ride that, are you? And I'm like, I wasn't, but yeah. And I'm not going in anything but this first ride. Yeah. So I drop in and I'm like, this is bad. It's big. I'm intimidated. And I slip out, carving, shoulder block, hit my knee. And I'm like, but it's this thing where I hit it and I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell. And then I get out.
Well, especially right after, because you can get back on it even when it's even when it's pretty jacked, you can kind of move through that that first I don't know, the immediately after the injury, you're like, okay, I can move this for now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be jacked later.
I skated for an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm skating, and then every now and then I bend over to get my board, and when I go to stand back up, I'm like, and I'm like, that's new. Now there's like if I used to bring my heel to my butt, it would hurt. Now if I bend my knees when I go to stand up, something pinches in front, and I'm like, that's bad. And I'm like, I wonder if that was like the last, this is Dr. Jason, where I'm like, I wonder if that was the last piece of my MCL that broke off, because there's like a lot of pain now. And that's just my theory.
Yeah, you're definitely qualified to.
I am
make
qualified.
That diagnosis.
How many? You read it in a book, doctor. I lived it.
I saw it on Google.
I didn't see anything on Google. I don't Google shit. But anyway, I keep skating, and then I skated the little one. The little one's fun, dude. I did Smith grinds in there, and I was like having fun in there. And I was like, I'll go ride the big one, because that one kind of intimidated me. I'm like, I need to get back in there. And then when I rolled in again, I was like, oh, this thing is perfect. It's gigantic, but it's perfect. So it was like, it's like.
Was anyone else skating it?
No, dude.
Yeah, I figured.
That's the vert world is just like
yeah.
Everybody's over in the street course. I also realized that I follow Chris Markovich. Markovich lives down the road. Bunch of dudes came over to me and were like, hey man, Chris, like you should, like, where's Chris? I don't know where Chris is. He lives down the road. I'm like, well, tell him to come over here. But a bunch of those guys are friends with Chris. Shout out to Chris Markovich. And then another guy, kid with a mustache, not a very manly one, but still a mustache. He goes, hey, man, you're friends with my dad. And I go, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, Derek. And I go, does Derek skate with Bucky Lassick? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I know Derek. Yeah. And then I get a DM from Derek. Go, hey, man, you just met my son. I'm like, yeah. Yep. And I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I just got a hip replacement.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I'm like, this is us. Like, I'm limping to a Uber where I'm like, I have no intention of stopping. You know what I mean? My leg doesn't work. And I'm like, MRI. It's probably time for an MRI. And this whole thing is going through my head now where I don't know how much longer, I know I shouldn't do this, but it's hitting me lately where I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to get alive or skating. I'm like, 20 years, 70. If someone told me I would skate when I was 50, I'd be like, yeah, right. But I feel like I can still skate. I'm like, in 10 years from now, you'll be 63. And I'm like, that's probably going to be difficult to do that. And I'm like, 10 more years, And I'm like, this leg doesn't work. It's dead. Something died in it today. And I'm like, go get an MRI. Like today, I washed my pads. And I was like, I'm going to come down here. And I was like, bring your pads. And I was like, I think I'm going to skate. And my girlfriend goes, you think that's a good idea? Like your leg is like really wrecked. And I was like, is it going to get any worse? Like, what does it matter anymore? Like, why not just go? I'm just going to keep going because I feel like this controls this. And I'm like, it doesn't work. And I'm like, shut up, you pussy. Like, just go.
But
and
you're saying, is it going to get any worse? Well, yeah, it could. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. Hobble. And I'm just going to go until it falls off.
But I think on the flip side of that is this a good idea? No, it's never a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Now
so
we
I'm
agree.
with you on that.
Right.
I'm with you in that respect. But is it going to get worse? Yeah, it could get worse.
Yeah, but if it gets really bad, like I can't walk, well, I'll go to hospital.
Okay.
But if I can walk, I'm just going to go. So
when I tore my PCL, we were on a tour through Europe. I came home and I had to do a demo. Like it was like a week and a half later, and it was a charity demo, and I felt very strongly about it. Was it a good idea? No, not at all. But I went and got. That was the first time I ever got PRP.
Yeah,
which was way more painful than anything I was going through with my knee at that point. But it allowed me to skate, but I couldn't bend my knee enough to knee slide.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
So one leg was always straight out.
Yeah.
And then I was either on my butt or on my side. And I ended up just getting the worst hippers the entire time, but I made it through.
That's my...
That's where you're at?
That's my skateboard.
Yeah, it's not a good... It's not a good state of being when you're going to skate.
I just don't.
Can't stop, won't stop.
That's it. I believe that I can make my body just do it. I'm like, or what? You know, or take some time off, or what? So you can heal again, then show up and break it off in 10 seconds anyway. Just break it off. Just do it. I dare you, Nee. I dare you.
Huh.
Pussy. I'm going to shred today. I don't give a fuck, Tony Hawk.
Okay.
I'm done with worrying about my body with all this shit. I've lifted weights. I lift a lot of weights, and because I'm 53 now, I lift a lot of weights, and I go, my arm, like something's really hurting, and I'm like, just rub some Vagisil on it, you pussy.
Oh my God, dude.
I was gonna say arnica, but
wow,
that's my wording for it. Because somebody was like, "Have
the
you tried
views and
arnica?"
opinions
of
of the hosts of this podcast do not necessarily reflect the hosts.
Yeah, no,
wait,
I don't.
what?
Tony doesn't speak for me. I speak for me. And I got no. We are not. Yeah, as soon as the camera's off, he leaves because he knows. He's a wise man. He's got better things.
Yeah, how do I distance myself? We're right here.
Sorry, but I'm just.
He leaves. Well, there's some separation.
There you go.
And now a word from our sponsors.
The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight. They scour the globe for original, homemade, absolutely remarkable things. Somehow, they know exactly the perfect gift for every single person you know. Here's one of my favorite gifts that I found on their site. It's a potato baker, because I only eat sweet potatoes, and I usually just put them on a pan in the oven.
Now you can fire them up on the barbie, mate.
Oh, g'day.
When you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. Many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches, so shop now before they sell out this holiday season.
Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S.
And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They donated more than $3 million to date.
To get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/HVW. That's uncommongoods.com/HVW for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary. So the cold is officially here. And guess what? I'm living in the perfect gene. These bad boys are super stretchy. They are, and soft, and totally trick people into thinking I've got my life together. Am I telling you this because I love the Perfect Jeans, or is it because it's an ad and Perfect Jean team are paying me to say this? I don't know. You figure it out. All I know is these Perfect Jeans are freaking awesome. These jeans have enough stretch to accommodate Thanksgiving dinner and are comfy enough to wear all day watching Sunday football. Because you know me, I love Sunday football. Plus, even though they feel like sweatpants, they look good enough to be your pants on date night. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc or Google The Perfect Gene and use code WOLF15 for 15% off. Look, everybody, I'm packing, all right? When I go through customs, my package goes off because they say that the security says I got an anomaly in my pants, and they are correct. And I need breathing room, and Perfect Gene are stretchy enough to deal with my fat package. Not to mention, I skate in these jeans, and I don't skate in jeans that don't stretch, because if they don't stretch, I can't bring my knees to my chest, which means I can't grab my board. You see me shredding, I grab my board daily. So these pants work, and they look good. It's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectgene.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off our first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use the code WOLF15. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code WOLF15. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that I sent you or we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get the Perfect Gene. Back to the show.
I've talking about lifting weight. I was actually doing.
You lifted weights
this morning, yeah. And
why?
Why? Because I'm trying to stay in shape. Because I'm older than you.
Yeah,
I say that in my comedy routine. I don't want to break my leg again.
Everybody laughs.
What's that?
I say that in my comedy routine, and everybody laughs.
Did I work out?
No, but I laugh at that. Well, not right now, but I will later on. You kind of are looking a little jacked. Your forearms have got some veins in them. Holy shit, dude.
My elbow, you know, you have skater elbow just from swelbows.
Yeah.
So when I get really strained, my elbow feels like it's just jiggling around in there.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, mine catches and then it pops to straighten.
Oh yeah.
Which is...
And then my wrist was actually making like a creaking noise as I was pulling up today, where he's like, "Is that the strap?" I'm like, "No, that's my wrist.
Yeah.
That is the mechanics of my wrist."
Yeah, when I bench press, this one goes, it sounds like little leaves are snapping in there.
Yeah.
Ping, 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 ping. And I'm like, whatever.
So fun.
It is fun.
It's
I don't know.
fun.
It is. It's fun. You know why it's fun?
It's painful.
Because I'm me and I kick ass. You know, it's just like some people go, ow, and I go, pff.
I like all the
and
affirmations.
that dude kicks ass.
Okay.
If I was watching a movie with me in it, I'd be like, I like that guy. You know what I mean? Because he's just...
My thought process is, damn, this is really hard and exhausting, and I am trying to skate later today. How am I going to do that? That's what goes through my head. I'm going to make it work. And I have a strong sense of denial like you. Like, pff, whatever. Just do it.
Because I was going to say, because it's two voices. You know, because you have one where I feel like is the older, more
But I don't
wise.
have some big agenda. I don't have some great aspiration to skate today. Like to do something.
Do I sound like I have an aspiration?
You sound like you're trying to go full. You're not gonna phone it in.
Yeah, but I can't. I'm not good like you, dude. Just skating is. If I phone it in, I'm not me phoning it in.
What?
Sitting here and not going over there. If I
It's
go
all-
over
it's
there,
all or nothing.
I can't, dude. Going up there is. I don't skate that often. Going up there, one wrong thing, and it's over. And in an hour, like 7 times is like at least 7 times I go at least 7 times in an hour. So every time I go that could have been the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the last time we skated here, I did a Smith guide, but it was a frontside 50-50 instead, and I
have
made
it on
it.
video.
And then when I came in, I went whoa, and I was like because that was
Why'd you
almost
just bring
it.
that up? Now I gotta find. I know
don't.
where it is.
Who
I know where it
cares?
is.
Take my word for it. It was a close one.
I know where it is. It's
Stop
okay.
doing it. Stop fighting it. Nobody cares.
The most challenging as of late was the episode with Amelia Brodka, because I had to dig deep into the Tokyo qualifying.
I thought she said she would find it. Indeed.
And then she talked about her slam, which, as far as I can tell, doesn't exist online, because I watched the highlights of every exposure.
I just find at this point, if you followed this podcast, we've said things and then we've shown the video several times. So from here on out, if I said I did it, just shut up. I did it. You don't have to watch the video. I think like you watch it anyway. TikTok douches.
Yeah, but your slam from the other day is pretty entertaining. It wasn't terrible.
I did feel better about it because it was the next day I woke up, because that's my test. I wake up and when I step out of bed, I go, and then when I walk to the bathroom, I go, yeah, you can't stop me.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Pain
and
level 3.
I always sit down to pee in the morning. I don't know why, but it's like still alive. Like I gotta like,
It's so exhausting.
I gotta be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like you're still here. You know what I mean? Like we got a game plan. What are we doing today? I don't want to stand up for that. You know?
If you stood up, would you be like
No,
wavering?
but maybe. But I did 2 shows, and my cat wanted to go out. And I go, oh, Rumblebee wants to get out. And I jump out the seat to let Rumblebee out. And I'm like, oh. And I'm like, what is that? And it was 4 o'clock. So at 4 o'clock, my ribs from that shoulder block and my knee kicked in. So
You mean 24 hours later?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah, so it was like it was a delay. And then and then on the plane the next day to Florida, my leg, like getting up out of the plane was super hard to get out of the plane because I couldn't stand up with my left leg. And then my chick goes, you did hit pretty hard. And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, that video, like I didn't want to say anything when you showed me, but I was like, that was a pretty hard hit. And I immediately felt good. Because at first, when I watched that video, I was like, dude, that was nothing. But now if I watch it again, I'm like, okay, no, that was like you hit pretty hard.
I took a slam, not falling forward, but falling backwards.
Yeah.
I took a slam, skating alone, cup cam.
Oh, respect, son.
Because I was shooting, I was trying to read and learn fast plants.
Yeah.
And fast plant to fakie.
Ooh.
And then I just started going in on foot plants for whatever reason. So I just went into a foot plant run.
Yeah.
Like made a fast plant, did a boneless.
That's your fault.
Went to sweeper.
Yeah, you've got those.
You would think.
Yeah.
And then went and made it, but kind of did it fast and did a half squat and then just boom on my back. On
By
the flat,
yourself.
right out of frame.
Oh,
So you hear it, and my pelvis just got jarred.
Yeah.
And then it froze up my lower back, and I was like, a sweeper.
Yeah.
That's all I could think. Like the rest of the set, I skated because you can outrun the pain for a little bit. So I skated the rest of the session, got in my car, and just like, oh, and then the whole time I was like, fucking sweeper.
Outrun the pain is a sick motto.
That was always Matt Hoffman's MO when he would take a slam during a demo.
Right.
Just to get back up while it's still loose, while I can still do it, and then suffer after.
Yeah, I knew people that if they slammed, they would get up and run. And I always felt like that was like stupid. But then when they explained the angle, I was like, oh yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. Well, I shot with Gregson here last year. Like we were trying to shoot a line.
Yeah.
And I had a really difficult line for me, especially in that stage of my recovery. And between two tricks, just washed out. Like I did a stalefish. I was going up for Indy alley-oop. Like that part of the line was not the hard part.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm on my back, elbows hit, completely jarred. And in any other context or situation, I'd been like, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, he's here. We're trying to get this line.
See,
Gotta push through. But that night I paid the price.
See, but that's right there when you made the mental decision that because you still had more to do. That's the thing that keeps me going. Is if I wake up and I can't move, I don't care. Like I know it from fighting as well. I've had fights where I'm so tired, and then I get up from a scramble and I gotta keep defending myself. I gotta punch back, and I'm like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
My arms don't work anymore, and I'm like, yeah. Well, if you don't get your arm up around your face right now, he's gonna punch you in it. So you better get your hand up to your face. And then the more I did that, the more I was like, even when you've got nothing left, there's always something. It's this, where it was like, my cardio is gone. And I'm like, but I will not.
Yeah.
And then you tell yourself, and that's like, I wake up in the morning sometimes and I sit on the toilet and I go, that leg isn't going to get you off the bowl. And I'm like, that leg can shut the fuck up because we're getting up and we're going to get some
gauge.
shit.
That's the litmus test. Is
The what test?
That's like your gauge in the morning.
Who's lemons?
Litmus.
Who's litmus?
It's like a scientific term. Don't worry about it.
Is he a smart guy?
Apparently, if they name something after him.
That's probably fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, he got a paper named after him, litmus paper.
And what's in the paper? Like how
the paper is how you test different chemicals.
Right, but in science, they're always
liquids.
sometimes they're saying that it's a fact, but it's never a for sure a fact because they're always learning new stuff. And science is always willing to accept that they were wrong so that they can keep furthering themselves. That's what I am.
Okay.
This is as far as you can go, and I'm like, I'm doing some more research. I think you can go further.
Do your own research.
I think you know that I'm not that. I might be that guy lately. I swear.
That when I was telling you about that thing when I was shooting with Chris, I remember when I finally did do the line. It wasn't the line I set out to do because I got hindered from the slam. When I finally made it, I barely popped out on the deck and then started dry heaving.
Hey,
Luckily,
hey.
As he went up, he didn't see me collapse on the deck.
Yeah.
And start like almost puking right there.
He's fired.
No, but I was thankful that it wasn't shown. That's all I'm saying.
Why? That's like That's what it
No,
takes.
it wasn't pretty.
Yeah,
It wasn't
good. It isn't pretty. Life's not pretty. Wake up.
true.
You know?
Yeah.
I love that. If I slam and it's not on video, it's like you gotta have that. People need to know. Like kids just think like I'm gonna be a TikTok star. And I'm like, yeah, well that'll last a little bit. If you're lucky, well, you're probably not gonna get that. But even if you do, then it'll crash and no one's gonna like you and gonna find out that you were all smoked in the first place, and then you got to recreate yourself. Like hard work, bad times. Things
Bad
that don't
times,
work
yeah.
out for you,
Yeah.
and then you keep going. Balboa effect, son. Even though that's a fake dude,
Balboa?
still real. Yeah, Rocky Balboa. Doesn't matter how
Balboa.
hard life gets. It's about getting back up.
It is backing back up. When you were talking about the mermaid,
I can't wait.
my biggest flex
Yeah. Oh,
for a birthday
you're gonna destroy me.
came kind of as a surprise, but my daughter Katie loved Yo Gabba Gabba.
I was there.
I know, but that was the biggest flex,
That was,
and it was completely shocking that they did that.
dude. I was stoked.
So when she was little, very
Everybody
little.
from Yo Gabba Gabba
So
was there.
when she was very little, I know one of the creators, Yo Gabba Gabba, Christian Jacobs, also the commander, Bat Commander, Aquabats, also was in Gleaming the Cube. He and I have been friends for a long time. And they had just wrapped what I thought was their final season
Oh, okay.
of Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah.
And that was like the one show my daughter would fixate on.
Yeah.
And then she was really young though. And I said, hey, would there be any way to like bring a character or something to her party? And he's like, we could bring them all. What do you mean
Sickness.
bring them all? He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we'll bring them all. And DJ Lance, I was like, come on, dude. Like that's, and he's like, no, he's into it. I asked him, he's like, yeah, let's do it. That sounds fun. It'll be like a little reunion for us. Cause we haven't, and I was just like, okay. And then, so I built a stage
Yeah.
in my yard.
Yeah.
And they did a Yo Gabba Gabba live show. That was absurd.
Dude,
I mean, even in it, I felt a little silly. I was like, this is a lot.
you know what's crazy is
What
you,
am I, a Kardashian?
I mean, you earned it. But do you know what your ultimate flex was? My flex was I know you, and I came with my kids. I was like, yeah, I know Tony Hawk. He knows Yo Gabba Gabba. And same deal, but less work. I just showed up and was like, there they are. Dad, you're the best. I'm like, well, I guess I am. Like,
That was wild.
I didn't
Yeah.
do nothing.
I was worried too because she was still young, so it was like getting to be nap time.
Yeah.
When they were about to go on, I was like, no, like you got to stay up. We're doing this.
Yeah, no nap today.
But she did not like so around. They had a little area where they were getting dressed, and she saw Fufa's head detached,
Oh, that's not cool.
and that wasn't cool.
Right. Because he died, kind of, for a second.
It was just kind of like, why, what, and
Yeah,
then
that can't be right.
But
'cause-
then Fufa came, and Fufa was complete. It was
That's the
fine.
close one.
Everything was good. Yeah.
Speaking of
But,
nap
yeah.
time, do you see that video of the mum telling Skater to get off the skate park? And she was there with a bunch of other mums, and they had like all toddlers, and they just like stampeded the skate park.
No.
Dude, it's like a viral thing where there's a bunch of mums. It's crazy, dude. Like this kid's probably like 16, 17.
Yeah.
He's come to the skate park. It's
Yeah.
in the middle of a park, in the middle of
Yeah.
a giant park of green, like it's a park.
Right.
Lots of stuff to play with if you're a kid. Mum's got the strollers. I think there's probably like
And they want to slide down the ramps and stuff.
they don't have no skateboards. They don't even have scooters, dude.
Yeah, I know that vibe.
They're just like climbing the quarter pipes and stuff. And the kid goes, "Hey, could you guys like move a little bit so that we could skate?" One mum starts arguing. Another mum comes up and starts flipping out on the dude. You need to get out of here. This is our time. When the kids when it's nap time for the kids, then you can have it back. And he was like, "It's a skate park." Like he wasn't being rude. Like he didn't say anything.
Wow.
He was like, "Yeah, but this is a skate park. You have a park." Like he had a real good argument,
Yeah.
and he was being nice about it. And she was being an absolute C-bomb, like just going in on him. And it's like a viral. Like because she started talking to him. In the mum, I kind of respected it a little bit because she was like such a mum that she was like, soon it'll be nappy time. and then you'll get your little skate park back. And I was like,
control the narrative of everything.
yeah, but it was just, he was
Wow.
like, but it is a skate park, and your kids could go into the grass. Like, it would be different if it was like, there's no, you know what? It wouldn't, there's no different. It's just, it's a skate park for skateboarders. And this mum's like, no, it's not. It's a playground for toddlers until it's nappy time. You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I just like it. It's such a sea change in terms of what we grew up with, where there were no skate parks or there was one skate park.
Right.
You were not seeing that kind of issue there.
Yeah.
Because it was so foreign to everyone. And also, for the most part, the skate parks were not in nice areas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Parents weren't bringing their toddlers in those areas.
And I think maybe that's I'm more reactive to it because I grew up in an era where if you tried to kick me out of the skate park, I'd be like, dude, we've got no place else to go.
The best
like,
was,
you cannot say that to me.
Back in the day, it was the YMCA vert ramp was pretty much the only vert ramp around.
Yeah.
And then come whatever time it was, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, when they're trying to close.
Yeah.
And everyone's still trying
dream
tricks, and they start to drag the chain across the ramp. Those are such vivid memories for me.
Yeah, where you've never been more amped.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, wait, one more, and he's halfway across the ramp, so you only have half the ramp to try it now.
Dude, I've told you the story of McGill's skate park where McGill's dad had the chain. And he's coming across, and I was trying tail grab 540s, and I made my first one there, and I landed on one and almost made it, and he's got the chain, and I'm like, please, Mr. McGill, please let me try, and he's like, all right, I'll let you have one more go, and I'm like, okay, and then like, it's all, and I make it, I'm like, yeah, like everyone's freaking out. He goes, my son invented that, you know that, right? I'm like, he didn't do tail grab, dude.
Of course you have to clap back. You can't just let it go.
Like, come on. How can he not tell the difference?
Can you just give Mike's dad his due? Can you just let him have that moment?
I would have. I'm sorry.
I love how you're combative.
Dude.
Yeah, that's not the same grab,
it's
though.
Weddle it's like two different hands. Come on, man.
I always loved that McGill learned 720s and he did it double grab. That is an amazing trick. The double fisted burl twirl.
That's what they called it?
That's what I called it.
Were you being sarcastic to him when you called it that?
No, it was amazing.
Okay.
I mean, it is. It's the way he did it.
What?
Double fisted burl twirl.
It sounds like you're talking shit.
That's
how did you take it, Mike? Because
I think he thought it was cool. It looked like someone grabbed him or shot him out of a cannon, just in a cannonball position.
Did he do it out of a rock to fake it?
That's a good question. I feel like he must have done it off of extension.
Off of extension, right?
Yeah, that's how we did it. But it looked crazy.
Did you do 720s off a rock to fakie?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know any better.
Right, because how else back then nobody could do air to fakies and
not with speed.
Right, you did it
air
as
to
a trick.
fakie at that time was just a trick in itself.
Right, you landed and you made like you just landed.
Like if you did it a foot out, that was an amazing trick.
Who was the first person to do a big air to fakie? Was it Jeff Phillips?
I don't know.
Because that's what I was under the impression of. Like
that seems like proper.
Like I know Jason Jesse made them like famous and changed the game where it was just like, oh, you can do them like a backside air. But I remember thinking he was the guy, and then someone showed me a video of Jeff Phillips doing like a 5-footer, and I was like, dude.
Yeah.
But he did it when it was nobody cared about vert. Like where he did that, and it was like.
Are you talking about now? Are you talking about then?
Even more than every other era.
Yeah, I understand.
Where people were still doing amazing stuff, and it was like, no one said, "Did you hear, Jeff?" No one said, "Did you hear?" He just did it, and maybe 3 dudes on the ramp were like, "Dude, that was sick." There's
been some clips floating around of Jeff Phillips on the clown ramp from 85-ish.
Yeah,
that is amazing, and you can tell that ramp is rough. It's small. It's a pile of slow.
Yeah,
and he's doing McTwist on it.
Yeah,
that was the less than a year after it was invented.
Also frontside ollies.
Yeah.
Like as a guy that was like, everyone's like, you do the biggest frontside ollies in the world. And I was like,
Jeff
yeah,
Phillips.
I do. And then I saw a video of Jeff Phillips doing a frontside ollie several years before I thought I was hot shit.
He was so cool, man.
He really was, right?
He was, yeah. I really liked him.
I never got to hang out with that dude. It's like I used to ride his board, before he passed away. That last board that he had, I was riding that. Like I was all into it. And I was like coming to America to like that was somebody that I wanted to meet. You know, it's kind of like in comedy. Like I always wanted to meet Mitch Hedberg. Like Mitch Hedberg was my favorite comedian before I really liked comedy. Yeah. Like I used to think that dude was really funny. Yeah. And if you were like, oh, you're into comedy, I'd be like, no. But I think Mitch Hedberg is awesome. And then by the time I got into comedy, like that dude was way gone. And the closest I can get now is like, did you know him? And then I know like 3 people that were like, yeah, man, he was cool. And I'm like, how cool? You know? Because I want to know, like, what did he think? What did he talk like? Like, it's like the same thing with Jeff Phillips where I was like, was he cool? He's like, yeah, man,
he and I did a demo in Mobile, Alabama. Gosh, what was his shop name? Someone out there knows it. This guy used to bring out pro skaters to do demos like before anyone really was doing that kind of thing. And he had us do a local talk show, the shop owner.
Okay.
And it was only me and someone else on the talk show, and they were taking phone calls. And then someone called in and was just like kind of being sarcastic, but also throwing skate terms that was like, who could know these things right now? And it was Jeff.
Yeah.
Because Jeff was watching from his hotel and he saw the number and he called in and then he's like, I'm just kidding, man, it's Jeff. Like,
oh, hell yeah.
And then we skated a really bad ramp the next day and he ripped.
That seemed to be a thing back then is you would do a demo and it would be like when I went to Florida the other day, like I was like, I'll go to the skate park and I'm like, this little bowl is really, it's a nice bowl. It's pretty small, but it's a nice bowl. And then I look at the other one, I'm like, dude, this thing is like, you could have a vert contest. This is like legit. I don't know I think Darren Navarrete skates and someone told me that he localizes it. I'm like, yeah, I bet he does because it is freaking awesome. Like when you skate by yourself.
Well, we're just spoiled now.
Yeah.
We're just spoiled with what it is.
Yeah, because I feel like I always wanted to be.
All ramps were terrible back then. Bowls were, Pizzy Park bowl?
Yeah, oh, that wasn't, yeah. Dude, my home ramp where I was like, this is the best ramp in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember for at least a decade, people would be like, wait, you ride that tin can?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, excuse you, sir. But
how dare you?
You mean Paran ramp, the greatest vert ramp alive, and then coming here and then going back. I was like, oh.
Like Del Mar. Del Mar had one good wall.
Right, that's where everyone did their best
all the
trick
tricks.
on.
Yeah,
right.
Every photo you see of people skating Del Mar is that one wall, except for the opposite wall had a little more vert, and that's why McGill did McTwist on it.
You know what's crazy is because you guys got so used to it and you were so good at it. It would take, and I don't want to disrespect anybody. I think Adrian Domain is an amazing skateboarder, but this is probably when he was amateur or something like that. But him skating upland, and he looks small. And when he rolls in and he does a backseat, and I know Adrian can crack, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he did he like carve, and then he jumped out and then rolled back in the other side, carve, backseat air. It was like 2 feet high. And then and I was like, I wouldn't even do that. Like I could feel that was a monster and a pile of a bowl.
It was so frightening.
Right, but you see video of like certain people like Miller in there where you go, I would shred that. Yeah. And it's like, no, dude, you don't realize that what is happening is insane. His body has adjusted and made this thing look like it's perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's not perfect. And then videos of Chris when he's like 45 and he's at Bucky's
same thing.
And I'm like, oh, that's why you look like that when you were 20. Yeah. Because you're insane.
Yeah, so great.
He is such a monster. I didn't know that he DM'd me the other day, right when I started dating my girlfriend who lives I don't want to say where, but she lives in a place that's out of here. And I get a DM from Chris and it's out of nowhere, like, oh, mate, you know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, Chris Miller's sick. You know what I mean? He lives there.
Yeah, I know.
That's why
I've talked to him a few times. He doesn't. Let's just say he doesn't associate with skating much,
right?
But he has been to that park up there.
And that
Can you imagine being at that park and Miller shows up?
dude?
Amazing.
I mean, I feel like out of
I don't know
anybody,
why we're keeping it a secret, but
out of anybody on the planet, like when I've seen that guy skate, where there were times in my life where I was like, he's here.
yeah.
And people would look at me like, dude, you look like something.
I have the distinct honor of being someone that helped him learn McTwist and was there for his first one.
Nice, because he was.
We're not going to go into
late.
teaching,
Right.
but it was pretty amazing.
He
we
was-
were doing a demo in Lisbon, Portugal.
Wow, I love how you remember that it was.
Oh yeah,
That's so gnarly.
was sick.
You know, I was always like, he didn't do them when all you guys did, but he was obvious. Like to me, it was like it's like when people have favorites. You know, like I was like, is somebody competitively better than Chris? Sure, yeah, I'll give you that argument. Back then, I wouldn't have given you that argument, but now I can admit it. So like, can I admit that Load and Reload were bad albums from Metallica? I
my
can now,
God.
but not at the time. But the way, like, I was like, you don't do the 540 because you're that good. Because it's like disrespectful to everybody else. If you do a 5 and all the other stuff,
Oh, no.
no one has a chance.
Okay, well I was in the thick of it. He wanted to learn it,
yeah, I know.
and he did learn it, and then started doing it,
Snapping them everywhere.
Snapping, yeah.
But he
Amazing.
also snapped them in a way where I knew, because I had errors where not like you, but I did him in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? I had him on lock. Then I knew people that were like, "Oh, my name's called out. I don't even practice it."
Oh yeah,
when
yeah.
you
yeah.
call my name,
Oh yeah, there are plenty of people. Well, Lance is the
Right.
the shining example of that.
and I'm like, I just the nerves of I
Yeah,
only
Lance
do
only did
them
it when he had to.
right when you have to. It's such,
Demos and contests.
It's such a
It was never for fun.
scary thing to
It was
do.
never
when you
ever
just-
for fun. Yeah, not for Lance.
Right. No, but I've had errors. Like the last one I did, that wasn't fun. You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like I
Oh no,
had
no, my last two
I
were
wanted to
not
call
fun.
my kids before I tried it. You know? Like, be good to people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
work hard.
Build up that karma.
Be nice to people on your
You're
in your
building up
life.
the karma to
Make the
do
most
it.
of your
Yeah.
life, you guys. This is probably it from me.
On that note,
Dude, I remember taking a knee after the big slam that I took. I flat spotted my wheels and stuff, and I tore my groin. And I was like, I can barely walk, and I'm already old. Like, and I don't skate that good. And I was like, oh, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it would hurt. I was like, okay, that's, you know, when you hurt yourself enough
Yep.
where you go, okay, that's a wrap for today. And I took like 2 steps, and I went under the steps, and I took a knee under the steps, and I was like, so close. You know, you were so close. You can be proud of yourself. Like, you did go for it. And then it was like this part of me, I was like, or
still got
you could just
it. Push through.
and then something like I was like, I know I'm going up the stairs and I'm making this one.
Yeah.
Like all the other ones, it was like unfortunate that I had to do all this other work and
Right.
and do all these slams and all these almost makes to get
Yep.
that mindset back.
Yeah.
And the mindset only lasted for like 5 minutes, but I remember now, like I dropped in and my wheels are flat spotted and my tail had snapped off too. So I had like a big piece of wood missing, and I dropped in. It was like, grrr, and I'm like, that's not what I like. Like I don't like that. And then when I did the backseat before, I landed low. So it was also.
I'd say sometimes I would argue that sometimes you need those distractions, because if everything is coming together perfectly, you're obsessing on it, only it. And if you have those things that kind of are misfires, flat spots, bad landing, your body's trying to adjust all that, and then you're not obsessing on the actual trick.
Wow.
And the trick just happens.
You might be right, because those were I was like flat spot, land low, and I remember when I landed low, and I was like, I didn't
Still
give a
doing
shit.
it.
I didn't give
Yeah.
a shit. I'm for sure making
Yeah.
it.
There's a very obvious example of that was when I first made 900. My setup air for doing it was terrible. I did 2 setup airs, and then the second setup air did not generate speed. I landed low.
Wow.
I see it every time because that clip is everywhere. You know, I'm not
see it.
trying to like sit here and gloat in it. I'm just saying that's one example that a lot of people have seen. But on my second air, I land low, and I'm just like
The
still
one
go.
before the 900.
Yeah.
the one you ever won, the first one you ever made, the setup air was bad.
I mean, you can't,
it wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect.
And
I needed everything to be perfect to get in that mode. But because it wasn't perfect, it kind of threw off my focus. And I think that allowed me to make it.
Wow. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Far out.
That's it.
That's crazy.
We've unlocked the secret.
It's crazy. Yeah, Mick.
So
everybody, don't
if
bother
your
going
setup
for
is
it.
super sketchy for a trick you want, it might be the one. Hey, you got it.
I know, that was a perfect. You got it right there.
Hope everyone has a good holiday, and that your company is friendly and agreeable. That's all I'm going to say about Thanksgiving holiday. Because who knows? It sounds like people are having a hard time during Thanksgiving these days with a lot of polarization.
Face to face, people are great. Don't pay attention to social media.
Well, enjoy your family.
Like and describe.